Okay, get this. A startup with barely any revenue just scored a massive investment. So what's the deal? It's because they're taking on one of the most stressful things you can possibly imagine. Today, we're diving into what this huge bet on a company called Truva tells us about the future of buying a home.
But first, let me ask you something, especially if you've ever been on the hunt for a new home. Does it really have to be so nerve-wracking? It's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make, but more often than not, it feels like you're just flying blind.
And that's really the heart of the problem. For so many people, buying a home in India right now feels like a huge gamble. You're putting down your life savings, basically betting that the property you're looking at is actually as good as it seems.
And we all know the common headaches, right? You move in and suddenly you discover the constant traffic noise the agent conveniently forgot to mention. Or you realize that sun-drenched apartment you loved is actually in the shade for most of the day. And then, the paperwork, it's a mountain. The real issue underlying all of this? A total lack of transparency.
Well, this is the very problem that a startup called Truva was built to fix. Their whole mission, their entire reason for being, is to drag the home buying process out of the dark ages, replacing all that guesswork with cold, hard, reliable data.
You can really see the fundamental shift they're aiming for here. It's about moving away from relying on a gut feeling and a good sales pitch, and moving toward making a decision based on objective data, verified facts, and a complete picture of what you're getting into before you even step through the door.
So how are they doing it? It all starts with what they call deep property intelligence. And nope, this isn't just about posting pretty pictures. We're talking data-driven scores that actually rate a home's natural light and even its noise levels. They've got these incredible 3D virtual tours so you can literally walk through a space from your own couch. And they don't just leave you hanging. They even help with all the complicated stuff, like getting a loan and navigating the legal paperwork.
And, as you might guess, an approach this revolutionary has caught the attention of some very smart money. The company just closed a major funding round that's more than just a check. It's a huge vote of confidence in their vision for a completely transparent real estate market.
So here's the big number, £6.32 million. That's about 56.7 crore rupees. I mean, for a company this early in its journey, pulling in that kind of capital is a massive deal, and it sends a really powerful signal to the rest of the industry.
So where did all this cash come from? Well, the round was led by two of their existing investors, Stellaris Venture Partners and Orios Venture Partners. They clearly loved what they were seeing and decided to double down. That tells you something important. The people who know the company the best are the most excited about its future. Now, here's a really crucial detail about the company's structure. Who's still in charge? Even after this huge investment, the founders still collectively own a majority stake, almost 55%. This is so key because it means their original vision and the direction of the company are still firmly in their hands.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking right now. You're looking at that and going, wait a second, all that funding for a company with just over 10 lakh rupees in revenue last year? It seems like a huge mismatch, but believe me, there's a very clear strategy at play here.
That apparent mismatch? It all comes down to something called the product-first strategy. It's a classic playbook in the tech world. Think about early Uber or Facebook. The goal isn't to make a profit right away. It's all about building an incredible platform, getting a ton of people to use it, and perfecting the experience. The revenue comes later once you become essential. Investors aren't buying today's profits. They're betting on that massive future potential.
So let's zoom out for a second, because this story about Truva isn't just happening in a bubble. It's actually part of a much larger shift happening in property technology, or PropTech. This one deal is really a sign of an entire industry on the brink of a massive transformation.
Just look at the numbers for this year. PropTech startups have already raised $368 million across 31 different deals. Now sure, that's still less than 3% of all startup funding in India, but what it really shows is a steady, growing stream of capital flowing into companies that are all trying to solve real estate's biggest, most annoying problems.
So when you put it all together, what's the big takeaway? It's this. The future of buying and selling homes is moving away from ambiguity and towards certainty. The platforms that are going to win are the ones that empower buyers, the ones that cut down the risk, offer total transparency, and make one of life's most complicated decisions just a little bit simpler.
Which really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In an industry that has always been about location, 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 could it be that in the near future, the most valuable asset of all won't be the square footage or the ocean view, but just simple, old-fashioned trust?
Okay, get this. A startup with barely any revenue